Turn the tap on in your kitchen on a humid July morning and fill a clean glass with water. Before the glass even reaches your lips, the smell hits you right in the face. A heavy, sharp, belly-turning stench, like rotten eggs, old swamp mud, and rusted iron, that fills the room in 5 seconds flat. You turn off the faucet, but the smell stays in the air, hanging over your sink, settling into your dish towels, clinging to your coffee pot. You run the shower upstairs, and the whole bathroom smells like a sulfur pit. You wash your white shirts, and they come out smelling worse than when they went into the machine. Most folks who live on a water well fight that stink the way the plumbing companies tell them to fight it. You call a water treatment company out to your property. A man in a clean shirt drives up in a branded van, pulls out a little chemical testing kit, shakes his head with a serious look on his face, and tells you that you need an $8,000 whole house filtration system. An iron filter, a sulfur scrubber, a chemical injection pump, 3 blue plastic tanks taking up half your basement, and a $120 monthly contract for salt, chlorine, and replacement filters for as long as you live in that house. $8,000 up front, thousands more down the road, and an electric machine humming in your basement 24 hours a day just so you can drink a glass of water without gagging. Now, I want you to sit with this. There is a simple glass bottle sitting on the bottom shelf of your pantry right now that costs about $3 at any grocery store in America. Plain, clear, white distilled vinegar. If you pour it into the right part of your well system in the right order, with a bucket of clean water on a quiet evening, it does something that no $8,000 filter machine can ever do. It kills the microscopic living source of that rotten egg stink at the bottom of your well, flushes the sulfur buildup out of your pipes, and clears your home's water supply completely by the time you wake up the next morning. It does not use electricity. It does not require a licensed plumber. It will not damage your plumbing, ruin your grass, or poison the ground beneath your feet. My name is Elias Yoder. I am Amish, and I farm on land my family has worked in Lancaster County, Pennsylvania, for over 4 generations. We have 3 hand-dug and drilled wells on this property that supply water for 9 people, 11 horses, 50 chickens, and a half-acre vegetable garden. We have never owned a chemical injection pump. We have never signed a water treatment contract. We have never paid a filtration salesman $1 single. And the water coming out of my kitchen faucet right now is as sweet, clean, and odorless as the mountain springs our ancestors drank from in the old country. I am going to show you exactly what I do, step by step, with what it costs and where to put it. Then I am going to tell you the part that should make you angry. The water treatment companies in your town have known about this simple vinegar reaction for over 50 years. They still sell you $1,000 machinery because a bottle of pantry vinegar does not create a monthly contract. Stay with me. By the end of this, you will know how to clear the stink out of your well water forever this weekend for $3. Let me start with what is actually happening down in the dark bottom of your well. Because if you do not understand where that rotten egg stink comes from, you will keep falling for expensive sales pitches every single summer. Most folks believe that the smell comes from dirt, rust, or deep underground minerals floating in the water table. Plumbers will tell you that your water is full of heavy metals and that you need expensive tanks to scrub those metals out. But that is not the whole truth. The stink coming out of your kitchen tap is not a mineral. The stink is alive. Deep beneath your yard, inside the dark crevices of the rock and soil where your well pipe sits, lives a specific kind of microscopic creature called Anaerobic Sulfur Bacteria. These tiny organisms do not need air or sunlight to live. They feed on the natural traces of sulfur and iron dissolved in the groundwater. As they digest those minerals in the pitch-black darkness of your well casing, they release a gas called hydrogen sulfide. That gas is the exact substance that produces that sharp, stomach-churning rotten egg smell. When you turn on your faucet, you are not smelling dirty water. You are smelling the gas created by billions of living bacteria that have built a home inside your well pipe, your pressure tank, and the dark walls of your indoor plumbing. They form a thin, slippery slime, what the water scientists call a biofilm, along the inside of your pipes. Every gallon of water that travels from the ground to your glass passes right through that bacterial home, picking up the gas as it moves. Now, here is where the modern plumbing industry gets it completely wrong. When you call a water treatment company, their standard solution is to install a heavy filter inside your house. They place big plastic tanks in your basement or utility room. Those tanks try to catch the hydrogen sulfide gas after the water has already left the well and entered your home. They are trying to catch the stink at the end of the line, after the bacteria have already produced it. That is why those expensive filter systems start failing after a year or two. The filter medium inside the tank gets clogged with bacterial slime, the carbon gets saturated, and the stink comes right back. Then you have to call the technician out again to replace $300 worth of filter bags. You are fighting a war at the wrong end of the battlefield. You are trying to clean the air in a room while leaving the rotten garbage sitting in the corner. Our way is completely different. My grandfather taught me that you do not fight the smell after it reaches your kitchen sink. You kill the living bacteria at the source, down in the well, before the water ever enters your home. But instead of pouring gallons of harsh, toxic chemical bleach or industrial chlorine into the ground, which ruins your pump seals, kills the soil biology around your wellhead, and leaves your drinking water tasting like a public swimming pool for 3 weeks, we use a simple organic acid, plain white vinegar. Vinegar changes the pH level of the water inside the well casing instantly. Sulfur bacteria can only survive in a very specific chemical environment. When you drop the pH level using plain vinegar acid, you destroy the slippery biofilm, dissolve the bonds holding the bacteria to the pipe walls, and eliminate the colony without leaving a single drop of toxic chemical residue in your water. By the time this is done, you will know every piece the way Cora knew it. By the time this is done, you will know every piece the way Cora knew it. You need 2 1-gallon jugs of plain, white distilled vinegar with 5% acidity. Do not buy fancy apple cider vinegar, do not buy cleaning vinegar with artificial fragrances, and do not buy expensive industrial acid. Just plain, clear white vinegar. That will cost you about $3 total. Next, you need an ordinary 5-gallon plastic bucket, a garden hose connected to an outside spigot, and a simple wrench to open your well cap. Here is the exact procedure, step by step, in the order you must do it. Step 1 is locating your wellhead outside in your yard. It is usually a black or green steel pipe sticking up about 12 to 18 inches out of the ground, with a heavy metal cap on top secured by 3 or 4 bolts. Before you touch a single bolt, go inside your house and turn off the electrical breaker that sends power to your well pump. This is critical for safety. You do not want the pump kicking on automatically while you are working on the top of the casing. Step 2 is removing the well cap. Use your wrench to loosen the bolts on the sides of the cap. Lift the heavy lid off carefully. You will see the dark opening of the well pipe going straight down into the earth, along with the electrical wires leading down to your submersible pump. Step 3 is mixing and pouring the vinegar solution. Take your 5-gallon bucket and fill it halfway with clean water. Pour both gallons of your white distilled vinegar directly into the bucket and give it a quick stir with a clean wooden stick. Now, take the bucket and slowly pour the entire mixture straight down into the open well pipe. Aim for the sides of the casing so the vinegar washes down the inner walls where the bacterial slime clings. Step 4 is the circulation trick that most homeowners never know about. Take your garden hose, connect it to an outside spigot that receives water from your well, and turn the well pump breaker back on inside your house. Place the open end of the garden hose directly into the top of your open well pipe. Turn the spigot on full force. What you are doing now is creating a continuous closed loop. The pump pulls the vinegar water from the bottom of the well, pushes it through your pressure tank, sends it out through the spigot, through the hose, and right back down the well pipe. Let that hose run continuously down into the well for about 20 to 30 minutes. You will smell a faint vinegar scent coming out of the casing, and you will see the water running down the pipe start to look slightly cloudy. That cloudiness is the acidic vinegar breaking up years of stubborn bacterial slime, iron buildup, and sulfur deposits clinging to the inside of your well walls. You are completely washing the entire well pipe with a gentle, organic acid wash. Step 5 is bringing the vinegar into your house pipes. Turn off the outside garden hose. Put the heavy well cap back on top of the pipe and tighten the bolts securely. Now, go inside your home and open every single faucet one by one. The kitchen sink, the bathroom taps, the shower heads, the tub spouts, and the laundry tub. Run the cold water until you smell that clear, distinct, sour scent of vinegar coming out of the tap. The moment you smell vinegar at a faucet, turn it off immediately. Do the same for every tap in the house. Now comes step 6, which is what my grandfather called the night protocol. You must let the vinegar sit inside your well casing, your pressure tank, and your indoor pipes completely undisturbed overnight. 8 to 12 hours of quiet dwell time is required. Do not flush the toilets, do not run the washing machine, and do not drink the water during the night. While your family is asleep, that mild acid is sitting inside every foot of your plumbing system, dissolving the bacterial biofilm, stripping away the sulfur gas pockets, and sanitizing the metal surfaces without corroding your rubber gaskets or brass fittings. When you wake up the next morning, step 7 is the final flush. Take a garden hose connected to an outside spigot and run it out into your driveway or a drainage ditch, away from your septic tank and away from your wife's flower beds. Let the water run full force for 15 to 20 minutes until the sour vinegar smell completely disappears and the water runs crystal clear and ice cold. Then go inside, open all your indoor taps, and run them for 5 minutes until the lines are completely flushed. Fill a fresh glass with water from your kitchen tap, bring it up to your nose, and take a deep breath. The rotten egg stench is gone. The sulfur gas is gone. The metallic bite is gone. You are left with pure, clean, odorless water for the total cost of $3 and one quiet evening of work. Now, there is a very specific problem that causes thousands of homeowners to get fooled by plumbers every single year, and I need to explain it clearly so you do not fall into this trap. Sometimes a person will run cold water at their kitchen sink and it smells perfectly fine, but the moment they turn the tap to the hot side, that terrible rotten egg stench comes blasting out of the faucet twice as bad as before. If your cold water smells fine, but your hot water smells like a sewer, your well is not the primary culprit. The problem is sitting inside your water heater tank in the basement. Inside almost every standard tank-style water heater sold in America, there is a long metal rod hanging down from the top called an anode rod. The factory puts it there on purpose, to protect the steel tank from rusting out. That rod is usually made of pure magnesium or aluminum. Here is the hidden chemical reaction that the appliance companies never explain to you. Magnesium is a highly reactive metal. When the mild, naturally occurring sulfates in your groundwater enter the warm environment of your water heater, they react directly with that magnesium rod. That metal rod acts as a chemical catalyst. It transfers electrons to the sulfate ions in the hot water, instantly converting those harmless sulfates into high concentrations of hydrogen sulfide gas. Your hot water heater is literally acting as a gas factory, manufacturing rotten egg stink every single hour of the day. Plumbers love this problem because when a homeowner calls them complaining about hot water stink, they often tell the customer that the entire water heater is ruined and needs to be replaced for $1,500. Or they sell them a complicated chemical filtration system. But you do not need a new water heater, and you do not need a $1,000 filter. First, you run the exact same $3 vinegar flush through your hot water tank. Turn off the power or gas to your water heater, hook a hose to the drain valve at the bottom of the tank, and drain out 5 gallons of water into a bucket. Then, using a small funnel, pour 1 gallon of plain white vinegar directly into the hot water line or through the top inspection port. Let that acid sit inside the warm tank overnight during your well flush. The vinegar will kill the sulfur bacteria thriving inside the warm sediment at the bottom of the tank and dissolve the crusty mineral scale coating the heating elements. Second, if the stink comes back a few months later, you make one simple change to the tank itself. You turn off the power, use a socket wrench to unscrew that factory magnesium anode rod from the top of the heater, pull it completely out, and throw it away. In its place, you screw in a $15 powered anode rod made of titanium, or a zinc-aluminum combination rod. Titanium does not react with sulfur bacteria. It produces zero chemical reaction, creates zero gas, and protects the steel tank from rust for over 20 years without ever manufacturing a single drop of stink. $15 for a titanium rod, 1 bottle of pantry vinegar, 20 minutes with a wrench, and you have permanently fixed a hot water smell that most plumbers charge $1,000 to address. Fixing the smell once is a fine thing, but keeping it away forever, without spending money, is how a family builds true self-reliance. My grandfather had a weekly habit that he practiced every single spring and summer morning on our farm. He called it walking the line. Every Saturday after morning chores, he would walk out to the wellhead, check the casing, examine the ground surrounding the pipe, and look at the drainage. It took him less than 5 minutes, but that simple habit prevented big problems before they ever had a chance to start. Here is what you need to check on your own property once a month to ensure that sulfur stink and surface dirt never return to your drinking water. First, look at the soil surrounding your steel well casing outside. The ground around that black pipe should always slope downward and away from the pipe in every direction. If the soil has settled over the years, creating a low spot or a depression around the casing, rainwater will pool around the pipe every time it rains. That stagnant surface water, carrying dirt, grass clippings, and animal waste, will seep down along the outside of the steel pipe straight into your underground water table. Pack clean clay or dense topsoil around the base of your well pipe so that surface runoff always flows away from your wellhead. Second, inspect your well cap seal. The top of your well pipe should sit at least 12 inches above the surrounding ground level, and the rubber gasket inside the cap must fit tight. If you see cracks in the rubber or gaps where insects can crawl in, you are inviting trouble. Earwigs, ants, and spiders love the dark, damp environment inside a well casing. When they fall in and die at the bottom, their decaying bodies feed the sulfur bacteria and start the rotten egg stink all over again. A new $10 sanitary well cap from the hardware store keeps every bug out. Third, keep vegetation cleared away from the pipe. Do not let tall weeds, blackberry briars, or thick brush grow right up against your wellhead. Dense weeds trap moisture against the steel pipe, cause premature rusting, and hide small animal burrows that can channel dirty surface water down into your groundwater supply. Keep a 3-foot ring of gravel or clean crushed stone around the base of your well. Walking the line takes 5 minutes a month. Combined with a $3 vinegar flush every spring, it shuts down the sulfur bacteria factory at the source and keeps your water crystal clear for the rest of your life. I want to leave you with the bigger picture. because I think it matters more than most folks realize. Think about who profits from your smelly well water. The filtration companies profit, the plumbing contractors profit, the salt suppliers profit, and the replacement media manufacturers profit every single month of your life. Every party in that arrangement makes money, except the family writing the checks. A $3 bottle of pantry vinegar poured into your well casing once a year makes nobody any money except you. There is no contract, no monthly fee, and no technician driving out to your yard in a branded van. That is the quiet truth behind why this old trick was never taught to you. Not because it does not work. It has worked in farmsteads for over a century, but because there is no money in teaching a homeowner to solve for $3 a problem that an industry would rather charge him $8,000 to manage. We use these simple methods because we have to, and because the simple things built on real physics never fail you when you need them most. A family that can clear its own water supply with a jug of vinegar and a garden hose is a family that needs to ask no one's permission and pay no one's monthly bill. So this weekend, walk out to your wellhead, check the cap, look at the soil slope, pour in 2 gallons of plain white vinegar, run the circulation loop, and let the night protocol do its work while your family sleeps. Tell me in the comments below where you live, how deep your well is, and what your water situation smells like right now. I read every single one of these comments, and I want to hear how your water smells on Saturday morning after you run the flush. Next time, I am going to show you what my grandfather used to purify dirty pond water and cloudy rainwater for our livestock during a hot drought, using nothing but 3 feet of coarse sand, crushed charcoal, and a clay pot. It costs under $10 and makes pond water run crystal clear. Until then, stay watchful, stay independent, and remember that the people who built this country with their hands knew things we are only just starting